Okay. Yay. Okay. Well, okay, this is a first for grey areas. We've never had 3 on the couch. We've never even had a couch.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I hope so, Suzanne. Suzanne Lynch, Tina Cross, Jackie Clarke, the Lady Killers, which is, quite the name. Like, when I say I'm talking to the Lady Killers, they're like, ooh, like, should I be worried for you? Like, are you going to be killed? This is just a joy to sit down with you. And my only hope for today is like harmonic chaos. Do you think you can deliver?
Well, it is early.
It is.
We'll try.
Yeah. And look, I guess the joy of sitting down with the 3 of you is in part because you're in the middle of a very successful New Zealand tour. So you are touring these sensational songs with your own sensational voices to sell out crowds around New Zealand. And from the sounds of it, you might just be having a bit of fun.
It's been beyond our wildest expectations. And we are doing this thing called DIVAS, and it's celebrating all the great wāhine toa of music. And it's, to be honest, it's something we've kind of avoided our whole careers. We've been singing together for 20 years now?
Coming up
20 years. And we've always avoided Whitney and Aretha and all these big divas. I don't know why, but we found we like unusual nooks and crannies, and it's like it's taken us this long to do something we probably should have started out doing 20 years ago.
Oh, no, it's good that we didn't.
No.
Yeah, it's good to take the long way. But yeah, it's been fun because as soon as you sing these songs, it's like it's like an instant musical I don't know, clitoris, really. But
It's a bit like coming home.
you just cut to the chase and everyone coming home, yes.
Coming home to you.
With hundreds of people simultaneously. But it's, honestly...
We're done.
Tina, tell me what it's like for you singing these songs with 2 of your best buddies.
Oh, it's hard to describe because what already exists is just completely expanded. It's beyond. I think in a way we got together really for a bit of fun, and then we discovered we sounded really good together, and then we discovered we actually really love each other. Well, we started off liking, and now we love each other, and it's sort of a bit like it's very hard. We're a family, really. So to feel like we can't let go of each other. So moving into what we've discovered with divas, because Jackie's right, we've avoided this whole female, I guess because they are divas, and in a funny sort of a way, we're all individual solo artists, but we don't think of ourselves as divas. It's a bit like, it's a bit untouchable.
Yeah, untouchable.
It's and yet we've discovered it's like, actually, there's this and there's this and there's this, and the way we create is not exactly the same. So if we're going to do a song like, for example, Natural Woman, which we do, it's a solo. It's an Aretha song, but we do it 3 ways, So we share so much, even though we do solos, which has never been our thing. We've always been a group. So harmony, whenever one of us is singing lead, the other 2 are the backup bitches. So, but now all of a sudden we're doing these wonderful, as Jackie said, wāhine songs from wāhine toa, and we also get to sing solos, which is a bit scary.
Good kind of scary?
Good kind of scary, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a bit sort of difficult to explain because we've almost completed the circle of who we are and what we bring and how we've grown over the last 20 years. And there's a certain, I don't know, it's that whole feeling of being completely comfortable, being sort of in the bosoms of each other.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm thinking about you being in your 50s and 60s and 70s. And look, in doing the research, Suzanne, you were Entertainer of the Year in 1970. Did you think you'd arrived at that point? Was that like, this is it, I've made it? And yet what I'm hearing you talk about is this, like, coming home to the joy of...
Absolutely coming home to the joy of everything, really. I think back then I was just basically at the beginning doing what I was told because I was only 14 when I started. And getting that award was fantastic, but I never had a huge plan for the future. I was just, the phone rang and I'd answer it and say, okay, yes, and then figure out how to do it later. But being with these girls, being in a duo with my sister was great.
Yeah.
But I didn't really enjoy being a soloist too much. So being with the girls is like, oh, the family's here. So I just love singing with these two girls. And we've got completely different sounding voices. But when they're together, magic happens. It's fantastic. And it's been a little unnerving for me to have to walk out and sing a couple of solos on these diva tours. But I'm loving it. It's great too. But I cannot do without these two ladies. I'm sorry you're stuck with me, girls.
Yay.
So let's speak for a moment. Like, I like this idea of the fact that, Tina, you're saying you feel like you've come home to who you are, and yet you're allowed to be scared in that for the challenge of a solo. Like, coming home to who we are as human beings and as women in this season of life, this incredible, powerful season of life, doesn't mean never feeling fear or never stepping out of your comfort zone, does it? Like, you are standing...
No. I mean, I'm in my 70s now and I'm still leaping about in high heels, singing I feel like a woman. And I do.
Yeah.
do.
Unless you're giving yourself the shits, you're not really living, are you?
That's right. You've got to live on the edge.
Yeah, and unless there's a challenge, and unless you're putting yourself slightly outside of your comfort zone, what's the point? If we'd stayed in a comfortable place, we would have all retired 30 years ago. Because for women in this business, the pasture is always just the other side of the window, and someone's always wanting to put you out to pasture. So unless you are in a space where you say, let's do this, and keep moving, but it's always generated internally. No one gives a shit if we keep singing. But we want to keep singing, and we'll keep singing for as long as it gives us pleasure, and it's hugely pleasurable. But the reason it's so pleasurable is it's because it's so petrifying.
Okay, cool. I love it. Yeah, I do know.
And if you're not uncomfortable and afraid, then you're not. The heart is not beating.
So this is this idea, right? You're not either afraid or at home, coming home to yourself. You're both and. You're yes and. You're like, this is. I know I can sing. I know I love these other women. I can go out on stage, but boy, this bit is really a challenge, a tester.
There's so much to remember, when we do our shows, because we're changing harmonies.
Facing
solo,
the front, holding your guts in, all of those things.
And I keep saying to the girls, I'll never get Alzheimer's at this rate. Constantly learning songs.
You're right.
But it's fantastic. It's
everything we do at this age is harder. Physically, singing is harder for us. It's harder physiologically. It's harder mentally because it takes, I know that to learn a song, it takes me...
just a little bit
longer.
And I mean, we push the boat out. We don't do anything simply. No. So let's make it really challenging and really fantastic. There's one thing we often say before we start a show, and that's, you'll have to forgive me my mistakes right now. Because we're going to make some.
Yeah.
No matter how much we rehearse, and we are the rehearsal group from hell. We rehearse everything all the time.
And the mistakes are actually part of the journey, aren't they? They are a bridge to the audience, because nobody in the audience can sing like you. Like, no one can. No one who's coming to see the concerts. There might be one or two vocalists there, but when you do something like that, I honestly think it builds a bridge to the audience where they're like, oh yay, they are human.
Look, in any audience we perform to, I reckon there's dozens of women who are probably the world's best singers, but they've never given themselves permission. The difference between, everyone can sing, but it's choosing to do it in front of people, because you have to have this amazing combination of power but vulnerability. And you're right, no one wants perfection, they want connection.
Yes, they do.
So when they see us, I don't know, I think what's become apparent to me is they see themselves, they see all our history and all our, wobbly arms and fat gutses and whatever is, our double chins and our wrinkles, and they see themselves and they just go, we are still going for it, like 18-year-olds, pulling no punches, taking no prisoners, just going for it. And I think that's the power of what we do, is we go for it, but we don't please anybody but ourselves.
You don't know what I'm used to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's about it's just about rowing your own waka. And like Susie says, when you're in your 20s, you're trying to please people all the time.
Yep, yeah.
And now we're in this blissful state of, I think the medical phrase for it is not giving a fuck, because we don't need, we're comfortable in ourselves. We work hard, we own our mistakes, and then we move on. And no one's going to die unless Susie's singing My Funny Valentine. Oh, gosh. She's actually killed somebody.
I have
singing
killed
that song.
somebody.
Did you? Tell me about it.
Oh, gosh. I was on a cruise ship, the only time I've performed on my own on a cruise ship, and I hated it. But I was doing My Funny Valentine in the middle of my show, and the cruise director started, saying, "Hey, Suzanne, give me the microphone, give me the microphone." And I thought, how rude, I'm in the middle of a song at first. And then I thought, something's amiss. Okay, so I handed in the microphone. "Everybody on the left-hand side, everybody stand." One lady in the front row was not standing. She was totally unconscious. So the men in the white coats came down with a stretcher, put her on the stretcher, took her out. And then he said, "Everybody sit down, I'm sure the lady will be fine. Please welcome back the lovely Suzanne." And I thought I had to go back and finish my act. And he said, "It'll never happen again." Well, the second show... same part of the same song. It's a true story.
My funny. Oh, don't even.
Now, I've told these girls the story, and they sort of went, A few years later, we were doing it as the Lady Killers, and we're standing just ready to go on stage, and the trumpet player was there, and he said, "Oh, don't I recognise you? Weren't you that girl that killed those ladies a few years ago? What's the name of your group?" And Jackie said, "The Lady Killers." and we walked straight out on stage. Oh, gosh. I haven't sung that song since.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
You couldn't write it.
You could not, no.
Bizarre.
It's obviously. The thought that I had listening to that story is, if I had to die on a cruise ship, it would be quite nice just sitting with my friends listening to a wonderful song.
To a concert.
Yeah. What a way to go.
Apparently it invoked too many memories, they said.
Oh, wow.
And not to sing it again.
Oh, like a heartbreak.
Yeah, like a heartbreaking sort of song.
Oh, God.
Life is dangerous.
It is.
So let's talk about getting older, because it's not for the faint-hearted. And yet I think so much of our language around it is so negative. Like, I'm not calling people elderly anymore. I'm going our elders. I love the Māori kaumatua concept, which is kind of, worldwide before we started to just shovel people to the side. How are you responding to the fact that your body is not as young and as, I guess, supple as it used to be, like me?
Oh, look, totally, that's me. I just get it fixed. So, I've got 2 ceramic hips.
They sound long-lasting.
They will apparently last 30 years.
Brilliant.
So I shouldn't need to get
Any
another
more
hip
hips.
replacement. That puts me at about 95 or something. I've just had my second hip done earlier this year. But, my feeling is that nutrition, exercise, okay, those 2 things. Now, exercise, that's one of the reasons I got my hips done, because it slowed me down. So I loved Body Balance, which is a combo of Tai Chi, yoga and Pilates. And the moment I had to stop doing that, I realised I had some problems. And that's because I've been over-flexible my whole life.
Right.
Being able to do the splits easily, all of that sort of stuff. So, when you have a lot of wear and tear because your body can do that, you have what I had. And I'm not going to go on and on about the hips, but that's just one little element of, at first, when it's sort of late 50s, I thought, oh my God, my right hip's playing up. I was in complete denial. I thought, I'm too young to have a hip replacement. But nowadays, you think about it, actually you're not too young to have anything if you need to have it done. And that's cartilage, it's not going to repair itself. So I just bit the bullet and thought, oh well, I'm a 61-year-old first hip, or 62, whatever I was. Get it done.
And how is it? And you're on stage, dance?
Fantastic. It's actually, I was always able to do that. I'm still able to move around on stage. It's more about the sort of the lengthy walking and back to yoga and Pilates and Tai Chi and all those things where I've been able to use my body in a flexible way. That's important to me. I'm still a bit of I'm not going to say a health nut, but I've got my supplements in my handbag, for example.
You're a health nut.
But I haven't eaten yet, so...
There's quite a few of them, Tina.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Well, there are these days,
Yeah, there are,
actually.
aren't there?
It's a much bigger thing, you know, all of my... Anyway, I'm not going to go on about it. But ageing, yeah, I mean, it's happening to all of us.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I feel like we had a turn at those other ages. Like we had the blessings and the burdens of being 20 and 30 and you know what I mean? Like we did that. What can we do now?
Look, I feel better than I feel more. I
you
feel more.
Aren't you a bit stiffer when you get
There's
up
more
in the
of
morning?
me to feel.
Well, no, I've got definitely my body's like I don't look after myself at all. I drink too much. I drink too much coffee. I don't do any exercise. I do lots of puzzles.
And she's the most
So you exercise
energetic
your
person.
brain.
I've just started Pilates.
Have you?
Yes.
Me too.
Just started
Yeah.
twice a week.
How's it going?
Great. I did do a lot of yoga when I was younger, but I haven't done anything for about 15 years. but no. But I thought, mid-70s, come on, you better go and do something. So I'm doing Pilates.
Excellent. But with what this woman just said, she's the most energetic person I know.
She is.
Look at me.
If you
She's a
are
machine.
walking anywhere, she's way up there. Because she
She's
doesn't wait
got
for
to
us.
walk fast because she's not moving at any other time. So she's making up for
I know.
it, isn't she?
No, we both sort of go,
We can't keep up with her.
No, well, I'm active, but I don't. You know, I'm just getting to a point now where I'm thinking, I probably need to start looking after my joints, my knees, and I'm thinking about it, but I'm not doing anything about it. But I keep my brain incredibly active, and I think that's where I burn my energy. Is I'm non-stop
she's brainy.
thinking about shit.
Which is quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just how it's just how I'm made.
So how do you rest then? What's rest look like for you?
Rest is binging some piece of television drama.
Yeah.
Or going to the movies, or going for a swim in the ocean, and
Cool.
Yeah,
Tina,
shopping.
Shopping. That's restful, not for your bank account, but
No.
what's rest for you, Tina?
oh, that's a hard one. I'm not very good at resting, and my brain is always on as well. The best thing I can do for myself at the moment is work out how to sleep better.
Yeah.
I'm a late night owl, and I always have been, and I always think when I'm still awake at 1 o'clock in the morning, this is my rest. It's not actually, but I think, like Jack, binge watching television will just turn, and sometimes crap, just turn my brain off. Exercise is restful for me because it just takes me out of whatever I'm concerned about at the time. A good long beach walk. Nature, actually. Got to say nature.
Nature's pretty amazing. What about you, Suzanne?
I love nature too. Walk in the park, walk along the beach. But I'm the same. Turn television on, it doesn't matter. It's chewing gum for the mind, just to slow me down and relax.
Look, before I started working television, I read Neil Postman's Amusing Ourselves to Death, which was his treatise on how television was like the drug of the nation. The three of you are like, yep, if I just need to zone out, I'm just going to chewing gum for the mind. Gosh, it says something, doesn't it? I wonder what Instagram scrolling is. That would be like tar for the mind? I don't know. I'm not judging me. I do sometimes scroll.
Yeah. Well, no, I love to read, but I only read in the summer.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, I mean, it's the same as...
It's a bad, good habit to only read in the summer. Like, yay, you're reading in the summer, but what about the rest of the year?
I know it's terrible, but I cannot read at home. If I read at home, I just go to sleep. I just sleep.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Whereas in the summertime, if I don't know, it's a different mindset. I will dive headlong into a book and not come up for 2 days, and then start another one. And I have a little mourning period where I miss those characters, and I miss that story, and I miss that tone of a writer, and then I just go, right, what's next? Palate cleanser, and then off I go, and I'll just binge. I'm just a bingey person. I'll binge novels.
So this is kind of good, though. You understand how you work. You like binge things.
I
but
do.
Not for too long, just for a season.
I
just for a moment.
can never try heroin because
I advise not trying it.
I can't
That's
go there.
not-
Yeah. And pee. No, I'd be
Bad for your body, bank account, and everything else.
Yeah, and I'd be an overachiever in consumption. So I don't go there.
It's good because I reckon that even this idea of like habits is associated with bad, right? And binge is obviously associated with bad. But you can binge good things. Books are good.
Yeah. And maybe we're all slightly obsessive. We do have this obsessive rehearsal habit.
Okay, tell me about that.
I mean, other people who've been singing songs for about 35 years don't rehearse them. We do, and we constantly change and update our arrangements and constantly change minute details, forcing our brains, which have already carved that neural pathway into learning another thing. And as Susie says, it's keeping Alzheimer's at bay, but we constantly go, I've just had this idea, let's do it like this. And it's like,
That'll be better.
It'll be better. And so we're a little bit obsessive in that way. We share that kind of vibe.
It's good changing it up. Yeah. Really good. I mean, occasionally one of us is not available. So all of a sudden our super swing Annie Crummer will come in and join us. So one of us has to change harmony. Or not. And I love that. I love the fact that all of a sudden I'm on Susie's part. Or I'm on Jackie's part, which is very high. So changing it up's great.
Yeah.
And you enjoy rehearsing, I'm suspecting.
Oh, we do.
So you're doing something you love to do something you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
The other thing is too that the actual performance side of things is actually quite short. No, when you think about it, it's actually the time that we spend together. Just kind of, sometimes, we haven't seen each other for, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and we miss each other. So the rehearsal phase is really important for us.
Yeah. And when you sing with other people, God forbid, it's like...
Next time I see Jackie Clarke, and I'll be like, poor person.
We think that when we see her with others too.
It's just, it's nice to have...
Of course it is.
But there are so many... There are hundreds of decisions in every song you sing, minute choices that you make. And we have got to this point in our relationship where we don't have to discuss a lot of things because we just fall into this beautiful...
jigsaw puzzle.
We're just, swimming alongside each other, and we can still cross paths and still fit together. And it's just, it's something that we don't take for granted because it's come from years of work, but also an innate. There's something about the way we sing together that just is completely special and unique to us.
Magic.
And it's magic. Made with a shitload of hours of work, but there's still something there that's like breathing. It's so natural. It's like breathing. It's crazy.
So again, you're talking about something I've discovered in your sukha, ease. You're talking about the ease or flow state is what mindfulness would call it. And you're also talking about mahi. You're talking about the effort, the commitment, the discipline that's required. So again, you're marrying these two things, which people would say were potentially sometimes at either end of the spectrum, like it's either easy or it's hard. But actually what you're talking about is reality. There's an ease and a flow and a beauty, a magic to what you do that comes with the discipline, the joy of the mahi.
And there's also the forgiveness. So we're all perfectionists, but as Tina says, the moment, just before we go on stage, we always say, right, forgive me my mistakes now, because we know there's 100% trust that we've all given everything. And we will all give everything. But things do go wrong. But that flow state you talk about, that's what we aim for. And that's when we're flying and there's no conscious thought. But all that detail and mahi is just going bing, 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 bing. And it's just the best thing. It's better than sex. It's because it's just so... rewarding.
And it's such a joy to be in the moment.
So tell me about that being in the moment. Can you describe, for somebody who's never going to sing in front of an audience, but I know what it's like to present and to be in flow state and to be receiving energy from an audience as you give them something. Can you describe what that feels like to you?
To me, it's just pure joy on stage because we know what we're doing and we have such a connection with each other, and we're obviously having a lot of fun on stage as well. We love doing what we do, and I think that transforms it over to the audience. And if we're having fun, they're having fun, and that's why we've had such successful shows, I think, It's just the sheer joy of being in the moment when we're doing it.
Yeah, Tina?
Yeah, I think it's, I was just thinking about what Susie was saying. I think it's when you're able to lose yourself in that time, and it's, you can be on stage knowing you're connecting. It's a sound, it's a lyric,
It's
what you're
connection.
saying in a song.
Yeah.
But the moment you actually come into your own body and mind and feel like you're lost in your own joy within yourself, it's almost giving yourself permission to love yourself as well as you're connecting at the same time. That's the beauty of a moment on stage. I mean, look, I can't describe how we are between the three of us, because there's all sorts of things. We just have to look at each other.
We're crazy.
There's the eye connection. There's the movement. There's sometimes we hook into Corrie. We don't. We don't do Corrie. We just, But every now and again, somebody gets into a groove and we pick it up. But that's not our thing. We've made a point of it. But it's a total ease and flow between the three of us, but also I think that's what we were talking about earlier with divas. All of a sudden we've taken ourselves and gone, okay, this is you, Susie, this is me, Tina, this is you, Jack, on our own. So it's a moment almost to settle in, because what we're doing individually as soloists are ballads, and the whole ballad feeling is quite sort of, that's where you can lose yourself, and I love that. And we've not done that as a threesome, as the Lady Killers. We're all about the energy, even though we do sing occasionally ballads. Yeah.
And it's a real art form, and we are very incredibly democratic, and we're not, and it's a sort of the opposite of being competitive. It's which is a cliche about women working together. That's never been our experience.
No.
Our experience has been 1,000% collaborative and 1,000% supportive.
Yes.
And we know we're all fans of each other. So I think that's, sometimes on stage I'm just going, oh, that's my friend.
Same. Honestly, I hear these two women singing their own individual thing, because obviously when you choose something that's you, because we're such a we, and I can stand off side of stage and just go, oh my God, I'm actually hearing this. And yet, I suppose we're such a one as three that we don't get a chance to step back and admire the beauty of each other and the sheer talent that, I've got. Well, actually, Susie's in the middle. I was going to say, that side of me. I'm on the right, you see.
It's good to know where you are. It's good to know.
Right. Well, sometimes I'm on the left.
The female pop trinity of New Zealand. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I don't know.
I'm full of spirits. So.
Okay, you can be the Holy Ghost then. Which is a great one, to be honest. I mean, they're all good. They're all good. They're all equally. It's democratic. Okay, can we talk about, because of the age that we all are sitting on these couches today, can we talk about perimenopause and menopause, which has become a conversation that fortunately is more open and more common? But there are still women who I get feedback from who listen to the show who are literally like, oh, wow, I just had no idea what was going on. And yet the human experience of menopause can be a sail. It's like taking a cardigan off. It can be like traumatically physical, severe symptoms, and it can be like this, kind of crunchy journey. Can we talk about that, Suzanne? How was your transition to menopause?
I didn't even realise it was happening, to be honest. Just very gently went through it. I had a few migraine headaches, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But really nothing. Just carried on.
You're the 1 in 5.
I just carried on.
Yeah. It doesn't, for some people, like I talked to a woman and she said, oh yeah, I had to take my cardi off once.
I never got the hot flushes or anything like that.
Fantastic.
No.
What about you, Tina?
I didn't get the hot flushes, but I did get some really weird things happening with my voice. So that told me, actually, probably mid-40s, I started to feel that things were going strange with my voice at least once a month. And then when I figured it out,
wow, it
was around about when I would be due for my period. So I was probably through menopause by 50, which I don't know if that's young or not.
It's about right, I think.
Maybe. And so what I did was I took myself off to an alternative health practitioner.
Yep.
And so all natural hormones, just balanced my body, and I'm still doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the voice thing, was that something that you had to adjust to, or did it just dissipate?
I'm going to say that now, of course, I'm well through. I think I can still tell when there are times in the month when I would naturally have a period, when my voice is a little bit... I think it's when your tissues that actually become a little bit more swollen. Sort of doesn't matter, you know, the mucousy tissues. And I can still tell. I manage it, I would say. Yeah. But I never had to take my cardi off at all. So, yeah.
No cardis off.
I've been burning my cardis. I think I'm up to about 8 years of hot flushes and night sweats. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. But I've always run hot as a human. And now it's
Yes, you have.
Yes. And it's just amplified that to the nth degree. But I have found it quite, it's, you know, I am a human water feature sometimes, and it's quite debilitating. And I just have to pretend it's not happening as I'm sheeting water out of my head in front of people. But it's like, oh, well, that's just what my body's doing. And it's going on and on and on and on. And I wish I talked to my mother about it before she passed away, just to see what her experience was, but I didn't. But my older sister, she's had symptoms, including rage, and it's coming up for 10 years. She may just be prone to rage.
I had the rage return recently, just temporarily, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah. But no, it's kind of boring, but I'm sort of used to it now. And I've dabbled with the idea of, you know, HRT, but I've just sort of got through it.
Have you dabbled with the idea of reducing alcohol intake?
Yes, I have. Yeah, because that's obviously all the stimulants that you throw into your body. It's definitely the heat responds to it. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying forever. I just did reduce mine. Was like, I'll just try this out. It's free, right? It's actually saving me money. Not much.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to the point now where I'm thinking I'm about to cross a bridge, and if I don't make some good choices now, I'm going to pay. So I have got that feeling, but I'm just busying myself with other things and avoiding that feeling. But I'm feeling like I'm coming to this point where I have to probably make some changes in order to carry on doing what I love doing.
That's an interesting idea, right? Because we're talking about, like, you've got modelled to you the next decade and the decade after, still doing what you love, still taking great pleasure and pursuing a life that has joy and connection and song inside of it. And this is what you want, right? But it looks to me, looking at my parents and my friends' parents and people just a few years down the road, that what we do now does have an impact. It is like, will I invest in my future self?
Yeah. We just don't question anything. We just carry on doing what we're doing. But I feel it's a political act to be visible at our age.
Yes, I hear you.
Because everything, you know, and in fact we do get this response sometimes that, oh, why don't you just pack it up and give someone else a turn?
Who says that?
So some people do,
I've
some
heard
young
that.
people sort of, as if there's some sort of finite space.
Exactly.
And there's space for everyone. And as long, it's just one of those weird attitudes that people have to older women.
It's a mindset of scarcity, right? That there is this only so much time and energy and money in the world. It's just very only thinly aligned, and you can just have a little bit of it and no more.
Yeah. Don't be greedy. You've had your go. You've had your turn. That's that thing. You've had your turn.
You've had your turn.
Except there are words like reinvention and recreate and reincarnation, and why can't we just keep going and doing something different and changing it up?
Yeah.
And so, we're not stepping on anybody else's turf. I think we all create what we create.
But there is a weird, there's a weird thing, you know. The way we look is still so ridiculously important in this space, which I find a double-edged sword. Everyone, you know, the compliments are always, oh, you look so great for your age. And I always think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, it's got nothing to do with our skill and our mahi and our craft. And it's like, just because we do scrub up all right, it's a real, I feel troubled by it all the time. Like when we post looking glamorous, we get 1,000 likes, and if we're posting to support a charity, we'll get 2. You know, because people just go, "Oh, you look good," tick. But they don't want to engage with you in any other way than, oh, you girls have still got it. And it's a sort of, it's a problem. I feel it's a problem because if we did start, doing concerts in our pyjamas with no makeup on, would we be any less wonderful?
No, you'd be no less wonderful.
And it bothers the shit out of me.
Especially if the pyjamas had sequins on them.
Yes, that's right.
But I'd feel less wonderful.
Yeah.
It's also, that's, how you feel when you zhuzh up. All of a sudden you go, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's your readiness.
No, I love zhuzhing, but it's just the only way we get space is by still looking a certain way.
Playing the game.
Yeah, and not that we do it to please ourselves, but I'm aware of it. It's still this double-edged.
I think double-edged sword is such a good word for it, and it's actually totally important, fine and good to bring it up, right? Because for women, the script is too narrow. Our script is too much on how we look, potentially, and especially in certain sectors, right? Some people, their mahi has nothing to do with how they look, and so they're not being held to that standard. But you're right that there's a push me, pull you, because I'm like, I don't want to wear push-up bras anymore. I don't want to dye my hair anymore. I don't want to do, jump through some potential hoop. And so there's this tension between have I let myself go and what do I care about? What do I want to do? So for a while I didn't wear these underwire bras because they just restricted my ability to breathe. But there are days when I do want to hold the girls up. They are going to fill out the blouse better if they're a bit more buffy. So it's actually, I can choose moment by moment, day by day, how I want to feel and present myself. But the primary feeling is what I'm doing and how I am in the world and who I'm connected to, which is what you guys are actually modelling much more than the social media post, which gets the likes.
I guess what I do is when I'm in my finery, I will always talk about what's going on underneath. So, we do joke about Nancy Gantz and the 17 layers of Suckerman undies that we're wearing and stuff, because every woman in the audience knows what it takes to present in a certain way. So we certainly don't hide that aspect of the mahi either. And I think the humour kind of makes all that.
Yeah.
We're not you don't want to, I'm bored with pretending about anything anymore.
I hear you.
It's just boring.
Yeah, I hear you.
And everybody knows. Everyone knows what's going on.
It's like we're all playing the game.
It's just so stupid.
I've been singing for 60 years next year, so I don't give a damn.
Yeah, exactly. Good girl. Good girl.
Yeah, I think who cares?
I used to never tell people how old I was, and now I'm proud to say how old I am because I'm still out there wearing bloody high heels.
Yes. Oh, and these two have got the same shoes. They are amazing. They both say after 10 minutes my feet are dying.
10-minute shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I feel proud of you for owning your age, Suzanne, and you don't need me to feel proud of you. But I'm somebody who's followed this in the same path, and it's like, well, expectations be damned. Yes, people are going to be able to work out how old I am. Yes, they're going to be able to write me off.
Get over it.
But actually, get over it. And I'm going to do this mahi that I care about and love. So I think there's something about standing in your power and in your vulnerability. Like, I am inspired by the work that you are doing and the joy that you are taking in it. And then to hear that the audiences are lapping it up, like loving it.
Oh, look, they're all on their feet, leaping up and down, old, young, every age. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just loving it, and so are we.
Which is the point. Otherwise, what?
Which is the whole point of doing it. Yeah.
Can we talk about money? Does this work? Is this financially viable for the three of you to tour?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yes.
To be honest, it's not really about money. It's like, it's good that we're getting paid.
Yeah, it's just nice to be paid.
It's just that you have to do things in order to keep doing them. Everything leads to something else. So unless you've got a momentum, you may as well binge watch your life away. But we're lucky in that we have had a career in the performing arts. All three of us have maintained that, and I think that's sort of rare. But I think that's also to do with our work ethic. We all do a lot of different things. Susie teaches, and Tina's done musical theatre and as well as the pop thing, and
As you have.
Yeah, and I do lots of talking and sing as well as singing, lots of emceeing, and so we've just always been. We're just able to reinvent ourselves and keep moving, aren't we?
We're very versatile.
Just busy.
So what would you say to women who feel maybe a little bit stuck, or like the best of their life was behind them? Like, I know I'm just throwing this out there, and you can each have a turn. You've mentioned busyness, you've mentioned doing what you love. Like, is there something from your life that you think, oh, this energy or this idea or this value of mine is something that has made me able to keep going? Because the performing arts is volatile and not well funded at times.
Ever.
No, it's not well funded. Well, during COVID, I was stuck in the house with a cat, so I was learning to speak meow quite well. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a book, because I just want people to know that just through saying yes and getting out there and actually doing something, you've got to put it into action. There's no point in just talking about something. Make it work. So I've written the story of my life, which comes out next year, actually.
Really? What's the title of it?
We're still arguing over the
Okay,
title.
of course you are.
We're not quite sure, but we'll know very soon. Yeah,
That's super cool. Have you girls read any chapters? Did she ask for your help?
We've both written a little something for it.
they've been glowingly, naughty girls.
No, we've been whinging at her to write a book for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, finally
It's
done
time.
it.
Get on
Finally
with it.
done it.
And the cat is the thing that convinced her to do it.
Susie is our benchmark. I want to be like Susie when I'm in my 70s, because the way she sings and performs, and honestly, I mean, we're 3 different decades,
It's about having energy, isn't it? Energy on stage.
Just having it. But I'm going to say that having 3 mokopuna now has made a difference to me. Family, being happy in a marriage. I left my marriage just after COVID. I now have a gorgeous partner. I've upended my life completely in the last few years. I haven't talked about it much. I certainly haven't put it out there. I don't think it's anybody's business, but if I feel like talking about it, I'm happy to. And these 2 have been, honestly, my rocks going through all of this. And we've kept working. Okay, sure, we actually did work a little bit through COVID, didn't we? Like, very quietly, we did a little, remember that concert we did where we we couldn't wear masks singing, but our musicians had to behind us. It was a TV thing. But anyway, I'm just with everything that's happened in my life in the last, I'm going to say 5 years, I couldn't have done it without these 2. My besties.
So even through what you're saying is you've walked through some difficult choices and some difficult seasons.
Yeah.
And you've done it with your
I have.
whānau beside you. True meaning of the word whānau, like not just blood relations, but your people, right?
Well, I've got sisters, but these 2 are also my sisters. And now I'm going to cry. So, next.
Yeah, but it's so. Thank you for sharing that. It is easy to focus on the joy and the good, and not to know that beside that is a real life that is going through real life
Alongside everything else you do.
Of course, yeah. Well, it's so lovely to hear about your mokopuna and your beautiful partner. Thanks.
Just to respond to the teariness of this, when you sing, we did a show just after Susie's dad passed away. I mean, remember that?
Terrible.
He basically rang and said, "When's your sound check finished, dear? Can you come?" And Susie left our sound check, went to her father. He passed.
Wow.
And then
I had to go back and do the show.
her
Back
daughter
on stage.
drove her back, and we had the most amazing sing together. And it's sort of weird to say, but it just, this real life, it walks alongside what we do. So we're always, when you're singing, you've got to leave. You've got to either lean into the day you've had, or you've got to leave it behind. But either way, it kind of, we work for that works for each other. I mean, we've been through good times and bad and thick and thin. 20 years together, there's a lot of shit that's gone down, and health and all sorts of things. And we just keep on keeping on for each other. And I think, for me personally, as a human being, I think curiosity is the key to everything. Staying curious and interested means that you're always going, what's that? I don't understand that. Tell me about that. Oh, maybe I could do that. Shall we try this? What would happen if... Question. And as long as your life is full of questions, then you just keep moving forward, and you do it in a way when you're blessed with relationships that have good miles on the clock, then you can do it together. And we always feel that we can do anything when we're together. You know,
isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's science.
It's like, safe, isn't it? We feel very safe with each other.
Yeah. I mean, they're pains in the ass.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
We all, it's like, we are really, it is like family, because it's like, for fuck's sake, do I have to put up with these two?
She bosses us around like you wouldn't believe.
I wouldn't believe it.
But there's just such deep love, because we know each other really well.
So again, it's like this. There's always the push-pull, right? We're not searching for this perfect day where nothing goes wrong, this perfect life where there is no other friction of another person being slightly annoying, this perfect marriage, this perfect song. Like there's all of it inside all of it, all of it, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's
It's
real
life, isn't it?
It's real
it's
life.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I think and I think we've learnt how to make space for whoever's. There's always some
Whoever's
drama.
having a bad day.
There's always some drama going on, and we just know how to make space for each other and get each other through.
Hold on.
And also find, it's just joyful as well. It's it's weird but good.
Weird but good works for me. That works for me.
Perfection is not perfect.
No.
It's got to be. We've got to have this sort of dynamic ups, downs, round the corner, down the road. It's great. We
And
love
look, I'm just referring to my notes for this time. Judy Bailey said that she'd done the research, so I believe her. And the most protective thing as we age is relationship, good quality relationship. Not necessarily intimate partner relationship. That's good if that's healthy, but heartfelt, intimate relationship with other human beings who have you back. I mean, that's easier it's not easier than exercise, but it's like we think I should be doing this or taking this or eating this, but actually being with somebody else is hugely.
It is huge. Great friendships. I think I really value now. I don't have a partner, so I absolutely value my friends.
Yeah, and why wouldn't
Especially
you?
these two girls. They've always got my back.
Yeah, we do.
I feel it. You've all got a New Zealand Order of Merit. You goody two-shoes. Did you fill in each other's forms? Like somebody has to nominate you, eh?
It's very mysterious. You don't know who nominates you, and it's weird.
And then they go around getting people who say, "Yep, I agree."
And
Yes.
it's not transparent at all, which is weird.
No idea.
And with 3 different periods in time when they all turned up. It's kind of like
Mine was in 2000, I think. 2001.
Yeah, and yours was 2018?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, and I feel totally like imposter syndrome. But then you go, no, I'm going to say yes because, on behalf of all, all brown kids from Kaiti Gisborne, I'm going to take my mms. But it is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing. But
Is it useful at all? Do you think you should do like a song like the Queens or the sort of We Are the Royalty sort of like? Or,
We sing songs by Queen.
oh, there you go. That's perfect.
that's close
and
enough.
we've sometimes done a show called Queens of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is very weird. And our bios do have all our,
You can't help it, can you?
It's
like,
just-
just put that there.
But anytime anyone from the performing arts gets noticed, you have to sort of go yes, because it's just all that the mana and the respect. You have to take that on behalf of everybody that does what we do, because sometimes that respect is not forthcoming.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And sometimes you say yes to that stuff because it's for others.
Yeah, it's for others, basically. It's for everybody else that's coming after you. That
Yes.
you know.
You're waving the flag.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another taboo topic, retirement.
Ooh.
So I think it was Judy Bailey who said she's trying to ditch that word. But it's how would you perceive of your future mahi in your future lives? Like, what is it that you want to do? keep doing or stop doing?
Well, I can't spell retirement, so no, it doesn't work for me.
Perfect.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep
Just
on keeping on.
doing what we love, which actually, when you think about it, what we've done our whole lives is sing, and everything else is an extension, whether it's teaching or musical theatre or Jackie's one-woman plays. If we can just stay performing, singing, well, for me, that would be wonderful. But I guess on my own terms, and that's kind of what we already do. We pick and choose what we want to do, and that's very important. You don't have to. We're not young anymore. We don't kind of have to do things that, oh, God, I have to do that. I don't know that I ever did have to do anything, but it's nice to be able to feel like you can pick and choose on your own terms.
I think I get to RET sometimes. Can't quite finish the word, but I've got 4 grandchildren now, so they keep me quite busy. Brilliant. And sometimes I think, it'd be nice to just sit at home and, have the grandkids around. But I'd miss what we do I'd miss what we do too much because of that feeling of being on stage and just the camaraderie that we have. I've always had camaraderie with other musicians and singers, but nothing like these 2 girls, so they'll be wheeling me out in a wheelchair, Jackie says, so hopefully I can keep singing. Yeah.
But you can blend the grandchildren especially, because there's something about grandchildren that's different from your own children, because you can give them back anyway. But being able to have both in your life, I think it's joyous.
It's great,
it's wonderful.
Yeah. And it's not that relentless 9 to 5, is it? It's not those years of building.
Never had a real job.
I think that there's a season of working kind of relentlessly to try and get a mortgage. And to pay for all of the things that are happening. And maybe as we mature, I mean, retirement is a construct. I think it was invented 60 years ago or something. I'll have the dates wrong, but this idea that we keep, I know New Zealand would fall apart if it didn't have its volunteer, brigade, this huge cohort of people in New Zealand who volunteer their time because they no longer have a 9 to 5 job, but they're working in our society and in our communities to keep things running, and it keeps them alive and it keeps us working and functioning. So even retirement's kind of a funny concept, because we need to keep doing stuff to stay alive and to stay connected.
We do. So many times you hear of somebody retiring and then a few months later...
dropping dead.
They're sick, dropping dead.
And retirement is entirely based on the idea that paid work is the be-all and end-all of life.
I know.
And that boring thing where the economy is... everything's about the economy. And we all know that mahi... a lot of mahi goes on, and it's not to do with a wage.
Paid.
It's not, and the world works because of all those people that are the connective tissue in the economy. That is not, they're not compensated with money, but that's what they do. So we'll keep on doing what we do until we can't do it anymore. And we've always had to work to make time together. We've always had to work to make that a priority because our lives are always...
We're always busy.
We're always running in different directions, and so we've always gone, no, let's take this time together, and that'll just keep on going. And we're all sort of in that portfolio life where there's different
portfolio
things,
life, absolutely,
different stuff happening, and these 2 have got their more core, so they're in a slightly different phase now. To me, I'm still working all the time, but I make time for these girls because this is our happy place. But that retirement thing, it's entirely an outdated concept. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
You just need a space by the sea somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether or not you hire it or whether or not you own it, you just need to find that time. And to me, that sort of represents work, family, and a little space.
It's the old stop and smell the roses, isn't it, really?
Yeah. But even if you just remember to look at the trees while you're driving, that can be enough.
and gratitude is, gratitude. Sometimes I have a day when I wake up, right, I'm going to be happy about everything. Today, everything I see, everything I smell, everyone I'm with.
I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday driving home, and she said, I'm just going to take my vitamin G. And I was like, and she said, gratitude.
Yes, brilliant.
It's brilliant.
So you could just change how you feel by taking some vitamin G.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
like
say
that.
to my children. Happiness is a choice. You choose to be, you make a choice to be happy.
In this moment.
I'm just thinking about the nature of this relationship, and it's sort of odd in that we have this incredible intimacy, incredible trust, and incredible love, but we really have nothing in common as people.
We don't.
And we don't talk about politics or anything like that because we don't really, it's not relevant to this relationship, and we probably don't share a lot of values. It's like not quite don't ask, don't tell, but it's we're on a different plane, and so this incredible connection we have, and this love and trust, and I don't know what, it's not a normal relationship, but it's more real in some ways, but it's got very definite boundaries where we don't,
Don't cross over.
We don't really, it's not like we're all going to the same political conventions. Or
No, you don't vote the same, say. So
we don't even, but that's not even, we don't even go there.
No, we don't.
Don't even ask.
So it's the differences between us as people has always been another thing that keeps us together in a way that wouldn't happen if we weren't in music. It's very weird, but very good again.
it is. It's like your love transcends the differences between you, or you probably can't define it. I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
It's I kind of can grab at the texture of what you're saying, like the how you are is bigger than the nitty gritty little individual realities of who votes who or how you like your sandwiches.
There's some, I don't know, I think there's some essential truth that you find in people when you're doing what we do that's bigger than, whether you shop at Pack and Save or New World or whether you like Donald Trump or not. It's sort of a weird, it's a pure, there's a purity to what we do, even though it's complex, everything. In the real world, doing this is complicated, but at the centre of it, there's this sort of unquestionable purity, which I've never thought about before. But
Purity's a good word. I think when you're at your absolute lowest too, that I know that at times, I think the two people I've been able to go, "Bleh, here's all my vomit," is these two. And it's the non-judgmental side of life that we often don't mingle with because we love our music so much. But you just know instinctively that both of them are going to go, put my arms around you, not necessarily physically because we might not even be in the same country. And I just know it's there. And I'm speaking from, I suppose, recent years, not long ago experience. And that's completely outside of what we would normally feel and do and connect with our music and our rehearsing and our performing. But it's just a knowing. It's just a knowing. You could say we've got each other's back, but it's more than that. It's more than that.
It is really.
Kind of what I hope out of this corridor is that other women seek out the company of their people, like that they do stuff with other wāhine that transcends potentially who they vote for and how they cook and whether they take supplements or not. It's like that we live and breathe and have our being in this connected, dynamic, kind of joyful space. Yeah, super good. The last question I ask every guest, and because there are three of you, I have to ask all three of you, is imagine your 80-year-old self. Imagine your 80-year-old self. What would she say to you today? Should we start with you, Suzanne?
Start with the youngest.
Yeah, let's start with you.
I'm only 29 on a bit of GST, so my 80-year-old, I think I'd just be the same. I don't see why not.
So she'd say, hey, how are you?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I've had a mantra all my life, which has been love, peace and harmony. And I think if you just, keep positive, keep happy in yourself, you've got to learn to love yourself, really. Once you love yourself, there are no problems.
Tina.
Yes, that's lovely, Suze. I really do think you have to happy and good in your heart, in yourself. You have to love yourself. And I know that choosing yourself sometimes is the hardest thing to do, especially when it's going to affect your children. So I think my 80-year-old self would say you did the right thing. That's it.
Yep.
Hear you.
I think my 80-year-old self would say, good girl. Good girl. You kept on being yourself. You kept being curious. And you figured out how to just be. Good girl.
I agree with her. She would definitely say that.
She would.